Welcome back to week 3 of online learning. As you may have heard, we're going to be in this until the end of the year. So, starting out with Monday, going to be fairly simple, going to be fairly straightforward. We are just going to do it's going to be a kind of a hybrid. So, the notebooks are now overdue. I graded those. You should have those returned to you. The imperialism and reasons and impact DBQs, along with the other DBQs, I explained previous videos. You should have done those, and I'm still working through looking at those and grading those. Some of you still haven't done those, so if you're, I wouldn't wait for me to put them. Oh, excuse me, that's the wrong one. First hour here. Excuse my computer's like me. It should be 16. A few of you haven't done those. Remember, you're looking at the documents and then answering. There's 4 simple ones on that one. Sorry for the drag delay there. But in terms of the reforms and revolutions, and then the Ed puzzle videos as well. In terms of the reform, we're going to move on to a new unit. Reforms and revolutions. Britain. And I'm giving you, so the first assignment is a hybrid. It will post at 9 a.m. That's why they're grayed out. So it gives you some notes that I had. I apologize in advance. Those notes are not, they're from last year. I recorded this last year. I didn't re-record it. So there's a few things that make reference to last year in class. Obviously, you'll have to ignore that. But the content is there, and you're going to read this, and I'm going to spot check these when they're due. So look at, as soon as this loads. Okay. Sorry, it's taking a second to load here. It's the drag from my machine to this. So there's some notes that you need to get. Fill in notes from the video, about 5 minutes long, and then regarding reforms in Great Britain. The major idea of these reforms is, why was Great Britain far from democratic? And remember, go back to the Industrial Revolution and all those reforms that needed to take place, and then some of the problems that Great Britain was experiencing in the mid to late 1800s. And why was it far from, and set up by the fact that they had all of these issues from the Industrial Revolution. Remember the child labor, the long hours, and so and those are some of the reforms that we're talking about. Some of the living conditions and working conditions in Great Britain as a result of the Industrial Revolution and that big change that took place. And then the other factor is, why was Great Britain far from democratic? Well, chapter 8.2 in the open book will explain that the House of Lords only had nobles or high-ranking clergy. They're the top of Parliament. They're like the Senate of Parliament, and the power to veto any legislation passed by the lower house, the House of Commons. So this meant even if more people wanted a certain law passed, it could be vetoed by a smaller percentage, the House of Lords, hence the name Lords, that did not want to pass. There you go. I just gave you the answer to number 1. And my open book will help you with this chapter 8.2. The open book, if I open it up and go to page, we're going to start with reforms in Britain. It'll kind of go in order with those questions, and then one of them asks you to link to a video about the Irish potato famine. That's at the end on page 194. There's a brief video on the Irish potato famine. So that the video of me, and which is a very short, about 5 minutes. So it'll take about 10 minutes to do, and then these questions on chapter 8.2. Reforms in Britain during the mid to late 1800s, due on Wednesday, and it's very straightforward. Now, how this, how our test is going to look, it's still TBD with this whole situation. You'll know, and they'll be fair. I have some ideas, and it's not, it's going to be more. It's obviously going to have to be a little different because you guys can see them and so on. So you'll be informed, and it'll be plenty fair. So just keep thinking about how, what's going on with these, and so on. We may do some checks along the way, low stakes checks, like we've done in the past, and we probably have the opportunity to correct those, but be thinking about that as we go along. So, thinking about answers, yes, but also in thinking about what we're learning here, as we go along. So again, this today's focus, British reforms and revolutions. We'll look at France on Wednesday and some of their reforms and revolutions on Wednesday.